computer. We're good to go now. Okay. So this is a breakdown of group communication for two classes. One is a fully online, so there are some people that are watching online, and then they're also going to get the video if they weren't able to make it today and they didn't have to show up today. And then this class is considered an online with orientation. And so what that means is that you come today, you get the idea of kind of what the class is and what's required and what you have to do. And then after today, you never have to show back up on a Tuesday at 1:45. For the rest of the semester, everything that we do is online. And that includes the assignments, that includes the speeches, that includes the tests. I will be here on this campus. So like if you ever have questions or you need to meet, or you want to, ask anything, you can text me on Canvas. I'll give you my cell phone number, and then you can also come here. There's lots of different ways. And Destiny, if you have a question, I do have the chat box up and you can just tap it in there. And if anybody comes up with a question, you guys can text it in there or you guys raise your hand. So really quickly, so we're all on the same page. And this is the page that you're going to be looking at and they're going to be looking at. Is up top is the cos.edu website. If you've never been on Canvas before, never taken an online class with COS before, you may not know how to get to Canvas. If you've used Canvas before with your school that you're in, and you're taking this as a dual enrollment class, you might want to add COS in the platform because it may show you just the school that you're in and not this school. So if you're in two different school platforms, there is a way that you need to add that so you can have COS and then whatever the other school that you're in. Are you in group or speech? COMM 8? All right, perfect. Grab a seat. Okay, cool. So what you definitely want to make sure that you do is you go to the My Giant tab that you just saw me click. I've already done that for those of you who are watching online. And I'm already in the Canvas portal. So if you don't know how to find it, you just click on My Giant, you put your information in, and it's going to take you to this dashboard. And this dashboard is going to show you how to find the class, how to log into Canvas, etc. Eventually, you can just favorite this portal that we're going to jump into, and you can just look at that and not worry about anything else. But it's that red bullseye that's right here at the top right. If you have a mobile phone, you can go to the Google Play Store, add the app, or the iPhone App Store, add the app. And if you'll notice here on my phone, I have a folder that's labeled Education. I can just click on that app right there and it lists all my classes. I can send out announcements. I can grade things. It's all right here on my phone. So if you don't have access to your laptop and you have a cell phone, you could do assignments and turn them in through your cell phone. So that's a really, good thing to remember if your laptop is not working, not charged or whatever, and you need to get online. Now, if you click on that Canvas bullseye that's right here, that's going to pull you up to, because I am the student view. Let me see what's going on here. There we go. Okay. You can see that this is what your portal will look like. It'll open up today. And this is the main page that you'll hit every single time you join the class. So for example, if you look at the home page, you will see that it gives you the announcements that are there. Those are the most recent announcements that have been sent to the class. How many people got the announcement yesterday and you read it? Raise your hand, please be honest. Okay, so not everybody. It's okay if you didn't, but that gave you the framework or the idea of what's going to be happening for this week, as well as some details on how to do the semester. Now, every single week, you're going to get one of those updates. So what do you think next Monday's is going to be? What's it going to say? It's labeled up there for you. Week 2, exactly. You're brilliant, smart. So it's going to say add speech advice, week 2 update, and then that week 2 update is going to give you everything Monday through the end of the following week. Make sense? Everybody with me? And then in 18 weeks, which will be here before you know it, there's going to be another announcement on Monday. And what's that one going to be labeled? At Speech Advice week 18 update. And that's going to be your final. It's going to tell you how to find the final grades. It's going to be, this is, what you need to know for the last week of the semester. But every single week on Monday, you will always get an update. You will never be able to say, I don't know what's happening this week. I don't know what's going on. You're never not going to know that. So you should have read already the At Speech Advice week 1 update. But if you didn't, let's just assume that you didn't. We're going to click on it just so we can make sense of it. So we'll click on it together and we can read it right here. And it says kind of like, don't stress. We're going to get through this. Take a deep breath. I like to have a good, fun semester. I want you to have a good time. I know that sometimes in a communication class, it gets a little bit nerve-wracking. There are studies that actually indicate that people would prefer to be in a coffin than give a speech. So that means that if you'd rather be dead or in a coffin than have to give a speech, then that means you'd rather be not in my class. You'd rather be dead. And I hope that that's not what you want. I hope you want to get through this class. And so what that means is we've got to get over the fear of public speaking. And the way that you're going to do in this class is by giving presentations in a group. You will have some individual presentations, but they're going to be really simple. The majority of what you're going to do in here is group work. You're going to make presentations together. You're going to give your speeches together, and then you're going to post them to the class. There's only one live presentation that you'll do as a group, and you pick that time as a group at the end of the semester. So I'll meet you online. We'll all be sitting on Zoom. Everybody will deliver their presentation content, and then you'll get your grade based on group work or group activity. Make sense? So although it may be the scariest thing ever to give speeches, I will do my best to help you pass this class and make it as gentle as possible. Everybody online, make sure that you understand that. Now, what I will say is that this class is going to be slow in the beginning because I'm going to take my time making sure that you understand how to write a speech, what speech content needs to look like, how do you practice, how do you deliver a speech. You won't be asked to upload a speech until you know all of that. And so today we're going to just be talking about the content of the class and how the class is going to work, what the assignments are, etc. And then next week and the following week, we'll be setting up interviews. And so you'll be meeting with me one-on-one through Zoom, and we'll be doing an interview where I will ask you, how you liking the class, any questions, everything making sense for you? What are you thinking about talking about for your first speech? What are you thinking about for group work? Are you anxious about that? I'm going to address all that with you when we do our one-on-one interview. Everybody with me on that? Make sense? But you don't need to worry about any of that because from now on, everything you need to know is going to be in this weekly update. So it's going to tell you everything that you need to do for the week, just like this announcement does. So this announcement tells you that this class requires you come to the first class if you were in this class. If not, then you had to be online if they're doing it online. And then it also tells you that the Zoom information for when we meet on Zoom is right there. I'll always give it to you. Like I'll say, hey, we have interviews. This is your time. This is your date. This is the link. You're always going to know how to find me on Zoom. But what you have to do this week is 2 assignments. That is 1, you have to introduce yourself to the class, and 2, you have to introduce yourself to me. You actually have 3 assignments because you have the Meet the Band virtual vacation participation assignment, but it's really easy, simple points. So those assignments are the only thing that you have to do by Sunday night. You got to read through Canvas. You got to make sense of it. You got to introduce yourself to the class and to me. And you have to do like an inventory paper where you kind of just give me ideas of things that you might like to talk about. Your favorite band or artist, or your favorite place to visit, or where you would like to go if you could go somewhere. Now, I'll talk about those assignments in just a second, but I want to see if anybody has any questions. Any questions? Any questions online? Okay, perfect. I'm going to assume not because I don't see anything posted. Okay, so what that means is if you just do the part of reading this announcement, do these assignments that have to be done by the end of the week. And then you go into looking at the modules. You are going to understand how the class is going to work. Now, I know it looks like there's a lot of tabs right there, but what you're going to see is if you just click on one, all it is about a paragraph of information that kind of tells you how the class works, what the class is about, etc. The stuff that you really need to make sure you don't miss, I have also put in announcements, and that's your syllabus and that's your calendar. But if you want to get to know me a little bit more, you can go to modules and you will see that there is about your instructor, which is listed there. And it's going to give you details about who I am, my story, et cetera, et cetera. If you go to the announcements tab and you click on this and you scroll to the bottom, that McGehee introduction tells it for you. You can watch a video. Let's say you don't want to read. All you have to do is click on McGehee introduction, and it's going to tell you all about me. It tells you about the fact that I've been arrested 5 times. It tells you why. It tells you about my family, the things I like to do in my free time. It's my introduction of who I am to you. Just like you're going to do an introduction, but not on video. You're just going to have to type it out, introducing us to who you are. Just a little simple paragraph. Everybody with me? Perfect. So if I wanted to know what this class is like, I want to read or watch this, or read the about my instructor, watch this video about the syllabus, or read the syllabus, which is in lots of places on Canvas. Now, we're going to look at the next announcement, which is the syllabus. So if I look at modules, I can find it right here, but I also could find it in announcements. All right, so it's either in announcements or it's in modules, and there's also the video introduction of it. If you look at the syllabus, it gives you lots of details of the class. What I like to look at this as is a prenup. So it is like Jay-Z, I'm Jay-Z, you get to be Beyonce, and we are coming to our prenup meeting. And we got our lawyers, we're lawyering up right here. And we got people watching, making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And this is my prenup. And you're like, I'm gonna look that over, Rob. I'm gonna let you know if I can do this. I'm gonna watch your McGehee introduction and decide if I like you or not. And if I don't like you, I can drop the class. I can walk away from this prenup. And it also gives me the opportunity that if I see an assignment in there that makes me nervous, I can ask questions about it. But it gives me the opportunity, if I'm a student, to know this is all that's expected of me. And what that means is if I say there's 5 speeches, I can't add a speech. I can't take out a speech unless I give you the points of those. And that's something that you really need to know as a student in any class that you take. A teacher can't say, you know what, I was watching the Grammys the other night and I want to do a rhetorical theory on what Lady Gaga said in her acceptance speech. And I'm going to add that to this week's class. If it's not in the syllabus, then you cannot add it to the syllabus. And that's how you get to say to me, no, wait a minute, you didn't say that was part of this course, so I'm not going to do that. And that gives you the legal right to fight back. If I tell you, hey, we're not going to have a midterm and I'm not going to give you the 100 points that I said I was going to offer you, then you can say, well, wait a minute, the prenup, our syllabus said that there's a midterm that's worth 100 points. So you get to hold me accountable for that, and I get to hold you accountable for that. So that's why it's really important for you to read this document. Now, what's in it, this is COMM 8 speech communicate or group communication. Yeah. It might be right next door. Yeah. I think that's what people was going on. Okay. So if I look at this syllabus, anybody else not supposed to be in COMM 8? It's okay. That's okay. Group communication. Group communication. Okay. McGehee. Okay. There's some people leaving because they're in the wrong class. Just FYI, what's going on? They're like, well, everybody's bolting for the door. So that's what, any questions online? Okay, perfect. All right, I should have done that from the very beginning. I thought people, yeah, exactly. Okay, so what you need to know is that everything that is the details of this class is in this syllabus. Now, what I want to stress is that this class, unlike that class, is group. So in that class, you have to give a speech by yourself. In this class, you're doing it with other people that I'm partnering you with. Make sense? That's the only difference between this class and that class. Now, that doesn't mean, though, that in this class, you're not going to have individual work. Your first speech that you're going to give is going to be an individual speech. Then you're going to have individual assignments like papers that won't be heavy. It'll be one-page papers where you evaluate speeches or look at something in reference to group communication, etc. Make sense? Everybody with me? Okay, cool. Anybody else need to leave? Okay, good. All right, so I want to make sure that you understand that this is my contact information. My cell phone number is right there. I highly recommend that you put it in your phone just in case you need to text me if you can't get onto Canvas, if you can't connect with your group, if you're having trouble with an assignment, you can message me through my phone, or you can message me right here in the inbox and send me a message through Canvas. Are you here for group or for public speaking? Communication what? 1 or 8? That's next door. Alicia Kennedy. McGee's my name. Yeah, you got me? Okay, I hope so. I'm making you stay now. Yeah. If not, I'll add you after class. You can drop that one. Okay, good. So, this class is completely online after today. And I will introduce you to your groups online. So it will be on all of you to kind of come up with and say, you know, I'm free to meet at this time. I'm free to meet at this time. It is not okay to say, I'm not available anytime. I can only meet at midnight. That's the only time I got. Because if that's the case, you don't need to take a group class. You need to find a time that you can at least try to adjust and work with other people that are going to be taking the class. All right. And I'll work to find people that have your time in your schedule. All right. You need to go. You Kennedy, yeah. Kennedy's next door. All right. Yeah, no worries, no worries. All right, nice to meet you. All right. So if you look at the rest of the syllabus, you're going to see that the textbook is free. You have the link that's right there, small group communication, forming and sustaining teams. I will tell you each week which chapters you need to be reading. I'll give you the link in your Canvas portal. It'll say, here's the link to read that chapter. I'll give you lecture videos online, and I'll give you PowerPoints that go with it. The great thing is when you take your midterm and your final, you'll have those things available to you when you take the test. It's not going to be like you're sitting in here and you're like, what was the definition of communication? If you know your notes well enough that I've been posting online, you're going to be able to just look it up on your computer and make sure you have the right answer when you're submitting your answers. Make sense? Everybody with me? Okay, perfect. Any questions online? Now, what I do want to say is that there is an expectation when you meet with groups. That means that you are going to make yourself available. You're going to be an ethical group member. You're not going to expect everybody to do the work for you. You're going to participate. On top of that, I want you to also understand that there are individual assignments, but I am more than willing to work one-on-one with you if you start to struggle by yourself, or if you have trouble with your group members. So for example, let's say that your group members are not participating, you're coming to all the times that you guys have agreed upon, but nobody else is showing up. You can actually fire members from your group, and you can only be fired once. So if I'm not showing up and a group fires me and I get put in another group, if I get put up to be fired again, I'm just going to make an F in the class because I'm not participating in my groups. And it's going to be held against me because 2 groups have proven that I wasn't willing to work with them. Yes. Oh, no, it'll be like they have to come to me and make an argument. We meet as a team and then we decide that. Yeah. Yeah. It's not just like, oh, I don't like Robin. We're not going to have her in here. Yeah. No. Okay. So let's look at the assignments that are due over the course of the semester. So the assignment, you're in another class? Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Everybody check, because I don't want to be, if you're in the other class, messing up on you. I'll move you if you want to move though. Now, in this class, most of the points come through presentations that we're going to make as a group or individually. So you have an interview, the one that you're going to do one-on-one with me. You have an artifact speech where you're going to introduce an item to the class. Maybe it's your, I have a tattoo. It might be my handcuffs from being arrested a couple of times. It may be my favorite album. It may be a picture of my family. All kinds of different things that I might use as an artifact. I don't know what yours are. It could be a pet. It could be a gaming device. It could be food. It could be whatever you want. But you're going to introduce yourself to the class through that item. That's your artifact speech. Then for the rest of the semester, you're going to work in groups. One assignment, you're going to introduce a musical artist or band to the class. So as a group, you'll divide up the content that you want to talk about in reference to this artist or band. And you guys are going to make a presentation that you'll post online. We're going to watch it and we're going to give you feedback. So you may do a PowerPoint. People talk about, the history of so-and-so, what their accomplishments are, what their music means or how popular they are, whatever you want to tell us about that particular musical artist or band. Or you could choose a virtual vacation. So you as a group kind of take us on a tour of a certain location, tell us why we should go there, maybe the history of that region, what's things that we should do when we go to visit. But you're kind of taking us on this video tour of wherever you're telling us. Make sense? Really easy, really fun. Students love that assignment. Then the other thing that we're going to do is you're going to run for president. You get to pick whoever you want to run. It could be Kanye West. It could be Donald Trump. It could be Joe Biden. It could be Forrest Gump. It can be whoever you want. You decide as a group. You're going to introduce your candidate and talk about why you picked that person. And then you're going to tell us why we need to vote for that person. There's going to be lots of different steps that we take that will introduce your candidate to the class and make a plea or a request for us to vote for your candidate. The fun thing about that assignment is whoever wins does not have to take the final. They just get full credit on their final exam. So it's a really fun assignment, and students really like to compete with each other because they know they don't have to take a test at the end of the semester. Now, all of this is described in detail in this prenup, okay? So if I'm going to sign on to a class, I'm making sure that I am totally engaged and understanding what the prenup says. But again, if I don't want to read it, I can go to the announcements. I can go to this week's update. I can look at the very end of that announcement. And I can see the introduction for me as your instructor, Robin McGehee. And I can see the syllabus on video. You're going to see me talking it through just like you're watching right now. Everybody with me? Okay, perfect. Now, what you should know is I don't care if you call me Miss McGehee, Robin, hey you, as long as you're being respectful, you can call me whatever you want. If you watch that video, you're going to learn a little bit about my activism and some of the things that I've done in my life to get arrested and to be active and why I believe communication is so important. And then on top of that, it's going to take you into next week where you'll get your first lecture, your first PowerPoints, and you'll move towards your first assignments in the class other than just the getting to know you, introduction stuff, okay? Any questions about anything that we've discussed? No? Okay, perfect. So let's look at the rest of this module. If I go to this module, I'm going to see that, as I said before, it's pretty heavily tabbed. But if you just click on one thing, you're going to see that it's not that much details. So if you go to the very bottom and you hit next on every single one. So I'll give you an example. So if I go to, let me just go to participation. And I go to the bottom, I can click next, and it's going to take me to the next thing. If I go to participation and I click next, it's going to take me to the next tab. I would suggest by the end of this week, you are reading through all of that week 1 module. The reason that I want to stress that is next week, there is only 1 or 2 tabs. So this is the major week of getting to know the class and knowing if this is the right class for you. Make sense? Okay, perfect. Now, the other thing that you should know in this week's module is that there is a class calendar. If you click on that class calendar, which is here, it's also in the announcements, that tells you every single due date and what is due that week for the entire semester. Tells you when spring break is, tells you when your midterm is, tells you when the presentations are. So if you have a trip to somewhere and you know you're going to be gone, you can look and see what's going on that week. I got to be gone. Can I turn that stuff in early and get it done ahead of time? All of that information is already uploaded and on the class calendar. All right. Now, if you look at next week, obviously we're not in class. You don't have to come here because it's fully online after today. We will be doing the review the PowerPoint lecture, complete the class 2 participation assignment. It's going to tell you, hey, make sure you did the assignments for last week. So your introduction to me and to the class and that meet the band participation assignment, make sure you've turned those in. And if you haven't, do those. So they're, we're getting them, you're getting points. And then it's also going to say, make sure you do this. So the way that you'd see that is, which module do you think you go to? Let me just ask you. Week 2. Oh my God, you're brilliant. Yes, week 2. Right now it is locked. You would go to week 2's module, and you'll see that there's only 4 tabs that are there. You're going to have to turn in a resume. You're going to have to turn in your interview sign up. You'll tell me when you want to have your interview. You're going to have to turn in your speaker blueprint. All those things are going to be talked about in the lecture, and you're going to have to turn that in by the end of the following week. Everybody clear about how it works? Now, if you click on the lessons and readings, and I'm going to open this up. So, oh, wait. If you click on the lessons and readings, you will see that all the videos you need, the PowerPoint that you need, and the chapter you should read are all highlighted in that link in the module. So every week, as long as you're reading the announcement and you're going to that week's module, that's all you need to do, and you'll be golden. And if you have trouble finding what you need, what should you do? Message me, either through email, if you don't want me to get back to you right away, Canvas, if you want me to get back to you right away, or text, if you want me to get back to you immediately. All right? Any questions about anything we've discussed? No. Okay, so let me make sure I've talked about everything that's due this week. So let's talk about what's due this week. Modules. Down at the bottom, there's 3 things. Week 1 introduction, the first part of that is due by Thursday night at midnight. Everything else for the entire semester is due on Sunday night at midnight. I give you the full week from Monday when I post it to the end of the week on Sunday at midnight. Every semester, at the end of the semester, I have students that reach out and they say, the only thing I really didn't like about your class is my whole weekend was ruined because on Sunday night, I always had to, be rushing to get the stuff in. And, I couldn't watch my football game because, all that was going on. Well, what could they have done to stop that from happening? Got it done on Monday. I could post everything on Monday. You get it done on Monday, and then you don't have to do anything on that weekend. You could have it out of the way. So as soon as I post it, I suggest working on it because that'll let you know how much time you're going to need to get it done. All right. Now, you have to introduce yourself by Thursday night at midnight. Then Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, you have to comment on 2 other people's introductions of themselves in the class. Hey, really, loved how you said you like this. I love that too. Oh, I'm a nursing major as well. Oh, I live in Turlock as well. Whatever it is that you want to tell us your connection to those other people. They're going to introduce themselves. Then you're going to talk to them in 2 of the introductions. Preferably 2 people that haven't had already comments yet. Don't everybody comment on Robin's, and then everybody else is sitting there like, well, why didn't anybody comment on mine? Make sure you comment on 2 that already don't have comments. The second thing that you're going to have to do to make sure you get full credit this week is do your student information sheet. That's where 10 points is where you're going to tell me a little bit about yourself, turn that in. All you do is click on the assignment. Click start assignment at the very top. It's not on there right now because I'm the editor of it, but it would say that if we were in student view. And then you're going to answer all these questions that I put forth for you to be able to see and understand. Whatever you want to answer, answer. Whatever you want to leave off, you don't have to give me. Like, you don't want to tell me your social media profile, I don't care. I just like to know that so I can give you speech ideas if you're stumbling, trying to figure out what to talk about. It's not like I'm gonna say, oh, I saw you at Pismo, but you couldn't turn in your speech. I don't care what you're doing. I might say, oh, hey, you should talk about Pismo. You seem to like it a lot. You go there all the time. That's what I'm going to say. Now, on top of that, the last assignment is the easiest one, and that is the Meet the Band vacation participation assignment. So you're going to read what this says in reference to this assignment, and you're going to give me 5 ideas for a band, artist, or singer, and 5 ideas for a place to visit, either a place you've been or would like to go. So let's say that you put Paris, Disneyland, Ireland, Las Vegas, 3 Rivers. And those are 5 places you put. I'm going to try to partner you with people who put similar things. So you, when you make your presentation, are not fighting to try to figure out what you guys could talk about as a group. Let's say that you put Jay-Z, Beyonce, Lil Baby, Kenny Chesney, and Taylor Swift. That's your 5 people. I'm going to try to put you with people that like that kind of music as well. Make sense? It's a big spectrum, see? But in reality, I am not going to say, oh, I'm like this hard on them. They like EDM music, but this other person only likes country. I'm going to say, I'm going to make y'all work together. No, I'll try to find people that like similar things. Yeah. You will probably have a group that's about 4 to 6 people always. Yeah. I try to not go too big because that makes it harder on schedules and just planning stuff out. But ideally, you're going to shoot for 5 would be the ideal number. Yeah. All right. Anybody else questions? Good question. All right. That's actually a question that's on your midterm, because the most ideal range is 3 to 7, with 5 being ideal. So good thing to know. All right. Anybody else questions? All right, perfect. Any questions online from anybody? Do thumbs up if you got it and no questions, just so I know that you're there and you hear me. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Destiny. Hey, Dira, do you have any questions? Okay, so I will make sure that I don't drop the people that have come in. And then if you have any questions, make sure you message me. And then let's see, it says chat. Let's see here. How often do we meet online? We are never going to meet online again, except for when you do your group activity. So when you make your group presentation at the end of the semester, then you will meet online once with me. Everything else is recorded video. You watch it in your free time, and then you do the work at your own pace. Make sense? That's the same thing for all of you as well. Make sense? Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So let me just make sure that I have one thing I got to make sure. Hold on. So Yadira, I don't have you. Do you need an app code? Because I don't have you on my either roster. Oh no, I'm wrong. I have you in the online class. So you're good. All right, so both of you are free to go if you don't have any other questions. And if you have questions, just message me. See, stop recording.